Lewis Hamilton put the SF26 on top in Hungary, but the real surprise was not the lap time. It was the way Ferrari's rear suspension, ride height, braking, and aerodynamic balance finally began working together through the circuit's slow corners. Vasseur had warned that execution would decide everything, and Hamilton may have just shown Ferrari the exact performance window it had been searching for. But there is one problem. The source does not confirm a secret trick or a shocked reaction, and the hidden advantage may be far more technical, more fragile, and more important than the headline suggests. Subscribe to the channel. To understand what Hamilton may have discovered, you have to ignore the idea of a secret button, a hidden setting, or one dramatic trick behind the wheel. The source does not confirm any of those things. What it does reveal is more believable and potentially more important. Ferrari had been working to make several parts of the SF26 operate together more effectively. The rear suspension, the ride height, the braking behavior, the aerodynamic balance. Individually, none of those areas explains Hamilton's fastest lap. Together, they may explain everything. A Formula One car does not create performance in isolated pieces. The suspension affects how the tires stay connected to the track. The ride height affects how air moves beneath the car. The brakes influence how the car settles when the driver enters a corner. The aerodynamic balance determines whether the front and rear produce grip at the same moment. If one part is slightly wrong, the driver loses confidence. If several parts are slightly wrong, the entire lap begins to fall apart. But when all of them connect, even for a narrow period, the car suddenly becomes much easier to place. That may be what Hamilton found during the second practice session. Not a trick, a window. And that difference changes the whole story. A trick can be repeated whenever the driver wants. A performance window depends on conditions: tire temperature, fuel level, track grip, ride height, even the exact way the driver prepares the car before the lap begins. Imagine trying to open a door with a key that only turns at one precise angle. Push too hard and it sticks. Turn too early and nothing happens. But find the exact position and the lock opens immediately. Ferrari may have spent several weekends searching for that angle. In Hungary, Hamilton may have found it. His fastest lap of 1 minute, 18.729 seconds placed him ahead of Leclerc, while the nearest non-Ferrari car remained around half a second behind. That was not merely a strong time. It was evidence that the car could deliver when the pieces aligned. And this is where Vasseur's earlier message becomes important. Before the weekend, he did not promise domination. He did not claim Ferrari had solved every weakness. He spoke about execution, tire preparation, setup, concentration, discipline, attention to detail. Those words now sound less like caution and more like a description of the exact process Hamilton used to reach the top. Because when a car has a narrow operating window, execution becomes everything. The tires cannot be too cold. They cannot be too hot. The outlap must create the right amount of energy. The brakes must reach the correct temperature. The driver must begin the flying lap with the car already prepared. A mistake before the lap starts can destroy the lap before the stopwatch reveals anything. That is why Hamilton's result may have impressed Ferrari more than the headline suggests. He did not simply drive faster. He may have helped the team identify the sequence needed to unlock the package. But there is a problem. One successful sequence does not mean Ferrari fully understands it. The team must now determine whether Hamilton can repeat the same result. Was the tire preparation perfect? Did the track reach the ideal level of grip at the right moment? Did the red flag create cleaner conditions for Ferrari than for McLaren or Mercedes? Did the car respond because of a specific setup choice, or because several temporary factors happened to align? Those questions are not small. They decide whether Ferrari has found a real development step, or only one exceptional lap inside a difficult car. And Hamilton's own caution makes the answer even less obvious. He had already suggested that the Ferrari had not changed dramatically since Monaco. There were smaller details, but the basic car remained familiar. That statement seems strange after finishing first, but it may actually explain the result. The SF26 may not have become a completely different machine. Ferrari may simply be learning how to use it more effectively. That is not the same as transforming the car. It is understanding the car. And understanding can sometimes create more performance than a major visible upgrade. Think of a difficult musical instrument. The instrument does not change. The musician learns where the pressure must be applied, how lightly to move, and how to produce the cleanest sound. Hamilton may still feel the same weaknesses. He may still recognize the same basic behavior. But if Ferrari has improved the way the suspension and aerodynamics interact, Those weaknesses may now be easier to manage in the right conditions. That is the first major clue. The car may not be fixed. It may be becoming usable. And around the Hungaroring, usable can become very fast. The circuit places unusual pressure on slower corners. The driver repeatedly asks the car to rotate, stabilize, and accelerate. There is very little time between those actions. If the rear suspension keeps the car settled, the driver can return to the throttle earlier. If the ride height keeps the aerodynamic platform stable, the grip remains more consistent. If the braking balance helps the car turn without disturbing the rear, the driver can attack the entry. Each benefit may save only a small amount of time. But the Hungaroring repeats the same type of challenge again and again. One small gain becomes another. By the end of the lap, the advantage can become enormous. That may explain why Hamilton's margin over the nearest non-Ferrari driver looked so convincing. Ferrari may have found time not through one dramatic corner, but through a chain of smaller improvements. A better entry. A cleaner rotation. He had already warned that the Hungaroring might suit Ferrari slightly better, but that nothing would be guaranteed. That warning protects the team from drawing the wrong conclusion. A strong result in Hungary can confirm direction. It cannot confirm complete transformation. Ferrari still has to test the package through faster corners, longer straights, different tire demands, different temperatures, different ride height requirements. That is how the team will discover whether Hamilton found a universal answer or a solution that belongs mainly to this circuit. And that uncertainty affects how aggressively Ferrari should react now. If the team believes the performance is track-specific, it may preserve the setup and focus only on winning the weekend. If it believes the performance reveals a deeper breakthrough, it may begin using the data to influence the wider development direction. That is a much bigger decision. One affects Hungary. The other affects Ferrari's future. This is why the practice session matters beyond the timing screen. Hamilton may have provided Ferrari with a reference lap that shows how the car behaves when the systems connect correctly. The engineers can study that lap. They can compare it with Leclerc's. They can identify where the suspension remained stable, where the ride height stayed useful, where the braking phase supported rotation, where the driver applied power earlier. That information can become a map. Not a map of one circuit, a map of what the car needs. And if Ferrari understands that map, the team can begin designing future changes around a clearer target. That is the real value of discovering a performance window. It tells the engineers what success looks like. Before that moment, development can feel like searching in darkness. The team changes one part. The car improves in one corner and becomes worse in another. The drivers give mixed feedback. The stopwatch offers no simple answer. But once the car produces a lap where everything connects, the engineers gain a reference. They can ask what was different, what the tires were doing, how the car sat on the track, how the rear suspension responded, how the airflow remained stable. That reference can guide the next decision. And this may be why Hamilton's lap carries so much weight. Not because it proves Ferrari has solved the SF26, because it may show Ferrari what a solved moment feels like. One lap, one operating window, one example of the car behaving closer to its potential. That is not complete success. It is a clue. And Formula One teams can build enormous progress from the right clue. But the clue must be interpreted correctly. If Ferrari chases the exact setup without understanding the conditions, it may fail. If it copies Hamilton's tire preparation without accounting for the changing track, it may fail. If it assumes the rivals were genuinely half a second slower, it may fail. If it ignores Leclerc's mechanical warning because the performance looked strong, it may fail. That last point cannot disappear from the story. Leclerc reported that something had broken during the opening session. The exact component was not identified in the source. There is no confirmed link between that problem and the development package. But Ferrari still has to understand it, because reliability can destroy every technical lesson. A car may produce the perfect balance. The tires may work. The driver may lead. But if the machinery cannot complete the race, the performance becomes meaningless. Ferrari therefore has to investigate without overreacting. That balance is difficult. The team must take the warning seriously. It must also avoid making protective changes that remove the speed. A safer ride height may reduce aerodynamic performance. Avoiding aggressive curbs may cost lap time. Changing a component may alter the balance. Again, the source does not confirm that Ferrari needed any of those actions. But those are the kinds of consequences an unexplained problem can create. One uncertainty spreads into several decisions. And that is how pressure builds inside a Formula One team. The driver wants confidence. The engineer wants evidence. The mechanic wants reliability. The strategist wants track position. Vasseur wants all of them moving in the same direction. That is not easy when the car suddenly appears capable of winning. A struggling team can accept experimentation. A leading team feels the cost of every mistake. Ferrari now has something to protect. Hamilton's fastest lap. Leclerc's close second place. A possible advantage through the slower corners. An opportunity to control qualifying. And perhaps a development clue that could influence far more than one weekend. The more valuable the discovery becomes, the more dangerous every decision feels. That is why the next step cannot be emotional. Ferrari cannot chase excitement. It must chase understanding. The team has to decide whether Hamilton's lap was repeatable, whether Leclerc's pace confirms the same technical strength, whether the red flag distorted the competitive order, whether the mechanical issue was isolated, whether the tires can survive longer runs, and whether the car can remain inside the same operating window under greater pressure. Only then will Ferrari know what Hamilton actually revealed. Not a secret trick, not a magical setting, not one action that shocked the garage. Something far more important. A possible blueprint for how the SF26 needs to be driven, prepared, and balanced. But a blueprint only matters if the team can build from it. And the next sessions will show whether Ferrari has finally found a foundation, or merely one perfect moment that disappears as soon as the conditions change.